woman with zero flying experience, a cockpit she has never seen before. 250 passengers screaming behind her. One impossible choice. She either lands the plane or everyone dies. Asterisk, asterisk, before we dive in, what time are you listening? Where are you from? Drop a comment below and tell me. And please like and subscribe for more videos like this. The morning starts like any other morning. Helen Parker sits in seat 12A, staring out the window as the plane climbs through thick clouds. She is a geography teacher from Oregon, 43 years old, married with 2 kids. She is flying to visit her sister in Boston. Helen has flown dozens of times before. She knows the routine, the safety demonstration, the slight turbulence, the hum of engines. But today, something feels different. She cannot explain it. Just a strange tension in her chest. She tells herself it is nothing. Just nerves. Just the usual fear of flying that millions of people feel every single day. The flight attendants move through the aisles with their carts. Coffee, tea, juice. Passengers chat quietly or sleep with their heads against the windows. Everything seems normal. Everything seems fine. But Helen cannot shake the feeling. Something is wrong. She glances around the cabin. No one else seems worried. She closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. Relax, she tells herself. You are being ridiculous. Then she hears it. A strange sound from the front of the plane. A thud, muffled shouting. The plane jerks slightly to the left. Helen opens her eyes. Other passengers are looking around now too, confused, concerned. A flight attendant rushes past her toward the cockpit. Her face is pale. Her hands are shaking. Helen's heart starts to pound. That feeling in her chest. It was not just nerves. Something is very, very wrong. The plane levels out, but the tension does not disappear. Whispers spread through the cabin like wildfire. What happened? Is everything okay? Did you hear that noise? Helen unbuckles her seatbelt and stands up. She needs to know what is going on. She walks toward the front of the plane. Other passengers are doing the same. They crowd around the cockpit door. A flight attendant is speaking into the intercom. Her voice is shaking. She is trying to sound calm, but failing. We need everyone to return to their seats immediately. Please remain calm. But no one is calm. People are asking questions, demanding answers. Helen pushes forward until she can see through the open cockpit door. What she sees makes her blood run cold. The captain is slumped over the controls, unconscious, maybe worse. The co-pilot is bent over him, checking his pulse, trying to wake him up. But the captain is not responding. The co-pilot looks up and his eyes meet Helen's. She sees the terror there, the absolute panic. He pulls the captain back and tries to take control. But then he stops. He clutches his chest. His face twists in pain. He gasps for air. Helen watches in horror as the co-pilot collapses onto the floor. Both pilots down in seconds. The plane shudders. The nose dips slightly. Passengers scream. The flight attendant rushes into the cockpit and grabs the radio. Mayday, Mayday, she shouts. Both pilots are incapacitated. We need help. We need someone who can fly this plane. Static crackles through the speakers. A voice responds. Is there anyone on board with flight experience? Anyone at all? The flight attendant turns to the crowd of passengers. Her eyes are wild with fear. Does anyone here know how to fly a plane? Silence. No one moves. No one speaks. Helen's mind is racing. She has no flight experience. None. She has never even sat in a cockpit before. But she knows something the others do not. She has spent the last 6 months playing a flight simulator game on her computer. It started as a hobby, a way to conquer her fear of flying. She learned the controls, the instruments, the procedures. It is not real experience, not even close, but it is something. It is more than anyone else on this plane has. She looks at the unconscious pilots, at the terrified flight attendant, at the 250 passengers behind her, all of them depending on someone to step forward, all of them waiting to die. Helen takes a deep breath. She steps into the cockpit. The flight attendant stares at her. "Can you fly this plane?" Helen shakes her head. "No, I cannot. But I have used a flight simulator. It is not the same, but it is all we have." The flight attendant's face goes even paler. "That is not enough. That is not nearly enough." "I know," Helen says. "But do we have another option?" Silence. The answer is no. They have no other option. Helen sits in the captain's seat. Her hands are trembling so badly she can barely grip the controls. The instrument panel is overwhelming. Dozens of buttons, screens, switches, levers. In the simulator, she had time to think, time to plan. Here, everything is happening at once. The plane is losing altitude. The nose is dipping. Alarms are blaring. She grabs the yoke and pulls back. Too hard. The plane jerks upward. Passengers scream. She eases off. The plane levels out, but it is shaking, vibrating. Something is wrong with the engines. The radio crackles. "This is air traffic control. We have your mayday. What is your status?" Helen grabs the radio. "My name is Helen Parker. I am a passenger. Both pilots are unconscious. I have never flown a plane before, but I have used a flight simulator. I need help." A pause. Then a different voice comes through. Calm, steady, professional. "Helen, my name is Captain Richard Stone. I am going to talk you through this. You are going to land this plane. Do you understand me?" Helen's throat is tight. She can barely speak. "I do not know if I can do this." "You can," Captain Stone says. "You have to. Now tell me what you see on your instrument panel." Helen looks at the screens. Her vision is blurry with tears. There are so many numbers, so many lights. "I see altitude, speed, heading." "Good," Captain Stone says. "What is your altitude?" Helen squints at the screen. 18,000 feet. "And your speed?" 320 knots. "All right. You are doing fine. Now I need you to reduce your speed. Pull back the throttle. The lever on your left." Helen finds the throttle. She pulls it back slowly. The engine's quiet. The plane slows. "Good," Captain Stone says. "Now check your fuel levels." Helen scans the panel. She finds the fuel gauge. "We have about 90 minutes of fuel left." "That is enough," Captain Stone says. "We are going to get you to the nearest airport. You are going to follow my instructions exactly. Do you understand?" "Yes," Helen whispers. The plane shudders again. The right engine is making a strange grinding noise. Captain Stone hears it through the radio. "What was that?" "I do not know," Helen says. "The right engine. Something is wrong with it." Captain Stone is quiet for a moment. Then he says, "Helen, I need you to stay calm. The engine might be failing. If it does, you can still fly this plane on one engine. But we need to get you on the ground as soon as possible." Helen's hands are shaking so badly she can barely hold the yoke. Behind her, passengers are crying, praying, holding each other. She thinks about her husband, her kids. She thinks about all the people on this plane who are depending on her. She cannot fail them. She will not fail them. Captain Stone guides her through every step. Adjust your heading to 270. Reduce altitude to 15,000 feet. Keep your speed steady. Helen follows his instructions. Her hands are still shaking, but she is starting to understand the controls, starting to feel the plane respond to her touch. It is nothing like the simulator. The weight is different. The sounds are different. The fear is overwhelming, but she is doing it. She is flying the plane. Then the right engine dies. The grinding noise stops. The plane lurches to the right. Passengers scream. Helen fights the yoke, trying to keep the plane level. Captain Stone's voice cuts through the chaos. "Helen, listen to me. You just lost an engine. The plane is going to want to turn right. You need to use the rudder to compensate. The pedals at your feet. Push the left pedal." Helen pushes the left pedal. The plane straightens out. Her heart is pounding so hard she thinks it might explode. "I did it," she gasps. "You did it," Captain Stone says. "Now we need to get you down. You are going to land on one engine. It is going to be rough, but you can do this. The airport is 20 miles ahead. I am going to talk you through the approach." Helen looks out the window. She can see the runway in the distance. It looks impossibly small, impossibly far away. Captain Stone walks her through the landing procedures. Lower your landing gear. Reduce your speed to 180 knots. Adjust your flaps. Helen does everything he says. The plane is shaking. The remaining engine is screaming. The runway is getting closer. 5 miles. 4 miles. 3 miles. Captain Stone's voice is steady. "You are doing great, Helen. Line up with the runway. Keep your nose up." Helen can see the runway clearly now. She can see the emergency vehicles waiting on the ground. Ambulances, fire trucks. Everyone is waiting for her to crash. To fail, but she is not going to fail. She grips the yoke. She keeps the plane steady. 1 mile, half a mile. The runway rushes up to meet her. "Now," Captain Stone says, "pull back on the yoke. Flare the nose." Helen pulls back. The plane's nose lifts. The rear wheels touch the runway. Hard, the plane bounces. Helen's heart stops. But then the wheels hit again. This time they stick. The plane is on the ground. She slams her feet on the brakes. The plane skids, screeches, slows, and finally it stops. Helen sits in the captain's seat, her whole body shaking. Behind her, passengers are cheering, crying, hugging each other. She did it. She landed the plane. All 250 passengers are safe. The emergency crews rush onto the plane. Paramedics take the pilots away on stretchers. Both of them survived. Heart attacks, simultaneous, extremely rare but not impossible. They will recover. Helen sits in the cockpit, unable to move. Captain Stone's voice comes through the radio one last time. Helen, you just did something incredible. You saved 250 lives. Thank you. Helen closes her eyes. She thinks about her husband, her kids, her sister waiting in Boston. She thinks about the simulator she played for 6 months, the hobby that seemed silly, pointless, the thing that saved her life. That saved everyone. When she finally walks out of the cockpit, the passengers stand and applaud. They hug her, thank her, call her a hero. But Helen does not feel like a hero. She feels like someone who was in the right place at the right time. Someone who refused to give up. Someone who did the impossible because there was no other choice. The story spreads fast. News crews descend on the airport. Helen's face is on every television screen, every website. People call her brave, a miracle, the woman who landed a plane with 0 flight experience. But Helen knows the truth. She was terrified, every second, every moment. She just did not let the fear stop her. She did not let it win. Months later, Helen goes back to teaching geography. She does not want fame. She does not want attention. She just wants her normal life back. But she is different now, stronger, more confident. She knows what she is capable of. She knows that when everything falls apart, when every option is gone, when death is staring you in the face, you can still choose to fight. You can still choose to try. And sometimes that is enough. Sometimes trying is all it takes to do the impossible. So, if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos like this.